right. Hello, hello. I am so excited for us to talk about how to meditate. And so, just so you know, I am live streaming this as well onto my YouTube
All right.
channel.
Hello, hello.
And
I am
so,
so excited.
we will keep letting people in as they hop on. And I know there's a delay between YouTube and Zoom, but it'll be great. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I'm going to get started because I want to keep this really quick and easy and simple. And then anybody else who jumps on, they will catch up basically. But tonight we're going to talk about how to meditate. And I just thought that I've had so many people say to me, like, I don't know if I'm meditating correctly. I don't know what I'm doing. I just can't get out of my own head, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, like, let's just clear this up. And I want to just teach you my personal beliefs about meditating and just give you another example, basically, teach you something else. So, one of the things I know to be true is that the things we are most resistant towards are typically the things we need the most. Now, I say this because I have and had so much resistance towards meditating. Like, I didn't want to sit still, I didn't want to take the time. It didn't matter to me, like how it made me feel. Like I couldn't get behind it. It was the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to meditate for so long. And that's just kind of a red flag for us to be like, all right, what are we running away from? And for me, it was running away from my emotions, really. It's basically what it came down to. So, for those of you who don't know who I am Crystal Ray. I'm a health and fitness coach and a Reiki master. And I've been on this crazy long journey of basically figuring out how to live as my healthiest self. And it included tons of strep throat when I was younger, different food sensitivities, anxiety, just a lot of different things. But basically, I've gotten to this place now where I really listen to my own body to figure out what it needs in order to help me live my healthiest self. And so my goal and what I want to do and what I do is to help you get to become your healthiest self without having to go on a crazy long journey. And so I believe in a holistic way of living and of healing, hence why I use Reiki to help heal the energetic body and then health and fitness for the physical body. So I do this beautiful blend, but we're not really here to talk about that. So let's talk about how we think meditating should look like. A lot of times we think that it's sitting completely still, it's sitting cross-legged, or there's this kneeling position, it's laying down, it's sitting in a chair. And a lot of our standard meditations, this is what they tell us to do. Okay, they say sit cross-legged or any type of way. But today I want to tell you that meditation can also look like this. It can look like exercising. It can look like cleaning. It can look like moving around, dancing, driving, any type of activity. Meditation, it's something called moving meditation. And it's not always about just being as still as you can be. So I want you to keep that in mind because meditation is really about this mindset. Okay. It's about training your mind. It's about understanding that you are not your thoughts. It's about finding stillness and being present in a certain moment. It's really about mastering this mental state that we have, right? It's about becoming aware and recognizing when you are having a thought and how the thought is making you feel. It's becoming the observer. You're not the one that's just going through the motions anymore. You're actually listening and you're in control. Like you're not just reacting. You're taking a moment to hear what's going on, to feel what's going on, to listen, and then move into a different place. And so when it comes to meditation, I believe that we can get to this present moment place, that we can train our mind not without having to sit still, but like think about when you're driving your car, right? You just get into this place where you zone out. When you're people watching, in a sense, you zone out. When you are exercising, you zone out. It's that it's that state. It's about being so much so in the present moment that everything else around you doesn't exist. And so, yes, sitting down and having a simple type of meditation is one way to enhance this practice of yours. It's one way to grow it and get better at it and develop it and strengthen it. But meditation isn't just that. It's not just the stillness. It's not just the quiet. Like for me, it's really about experiencing that present moment. And like, you know what I'm talking about? Like when you're in that present moment, you don't know what time is. Like you don't know how much time has gone by. You don't know anything about the future. You don't know anything about the past. It's like you're literally locked in that moment, in that activity. And that's why I say like meditation is also all of these things. Like it's also moving and creating and crafting. Like it's not just sitting still. So hopefully that gives some more clarity about it. Yes, meditation has a lot of great health benefits. Yes, it does help with reducing our stress. It can help us with our health in general. Meditation can be used to gain enlightenment. Like, yes, there are a lot of things with it. But like for me, from the most simplest basic point, meditation is about reconnecting to myself and hearing my intuition and silencing all the noise and just really figuring out what is it that I want and getting back to that basic question. So tonight I want to teach you my personal favorite way to meditate because I am somebody who doesn't like sitting still at all. And my mind races. My mind races all the time. It's gotten better over the years, but like I can't stop thinking sometimes. It just is what it is. And with that, I do want to note that with meditation, if you can't stop thinking, don't fight it. Don't sit here and make yourself feel guilty or talk down to yourself because your mind is racing. It's okay. Chatty Cathy came by. She's visiting. Okay. Maybe that's just a way of saying this may not be the most perfect time to meditate. Or maybe what it's talking about is like things that are helping you. Like sometimes when I'm meditating, it's giving me creative ideas and giving me solutions to problems that I have. So sometimes listening to the thoughts isn't anything bad. Like it's nothing that I feel guilty about. Like I'm not striving for an empty mind when I meditate. I'm striving to just be in the present moment and allow myself to find stillness, if that makes sense. So my personal favorite way of meditating, this totally changed my life, changed my meditation game. Find a place where you won't be interrupted. I find that if I'm in a place where I know somebody can hear me or I'm self-conscious, I won't allow myself to really let go. So figure out a place and a time where like you can really feel relaxed and calm. Then light a candle. So I already have 2 candles lit and I'm just going to move this one over here. So we light a candle, set a timer. Like you can meditate for 5 minutes when you're first starting out, and you can go to as much as 15 minutes. You can cap at 15 minutes a day. Abraham Hicks says 15 minutes a day. That's all you really need. Like you don't have to do more than that, but start off with 5. And then literally you sit here and you watch this candle flame. And so I'm going to bring this a little bit closer. But it's just sitting there and watching the flame. And what happens is as we're watching the flame moves, it has pretty colors, you know, it flickers, it gets smaller, it grows, the wax changes. And as all of that's happening, all we're doing is watching that. And by us watching it, we are staying in the present moment. Right? And so when we start to have our thoughts come in and we start wandering and we might go down the spiral, we just come back here and we're like, oh, look at that blue at the top of the candle flame. That brings you right back into the present moment. And that's basically meditating, essentially. So I thought what we could do tonight is meditate, which we'll get to that in a second. Before we move on to that part, there's other ways of meditating. And so this is just my favorite way. This is my initial way, but I don't always do this. And I just want to say that I do use a lot of other techniques, and it depends on my mood, depends on what I feel called to and what I need in that moment. But other things include a guided meditation. So a guided meditation is basically when somebody is walking you through a meditation. Close your eyes. Imagine that there's white light coming down. Now imagine that blah, blah, blah. A guided meditation. They might take you out into a field. They might have you sit down next to your person. Like you could do guided meditations for parallel universes. You can do guided meditations for connecting into your higher self. Like there's a lot of different things, but that's a guided meditation. Somebody is using their voice to walk you through an experience. There's also music. So music is so powerful, okay? It's waves, it's frequency. Delta waves and binaural beats literally are impacting the frequency of your brain. And so they are actually calming you down and taking you into a state that's very close to sleeping. Hence, a lot of delta wave and theta wave music is oriented to helping you sleep because it's on that wavelength. So by listening to that, that's another way to experience meditation. Of course, outside in nature, whether it just be sitting in the sunshine, putting your feet on the grass, being by water, being in water, like literally reconnecting into nature is meditative. It's also grounding. Breath work is another way to meditate. And so there's a couple different types of breath work. There's the alternating nostril breathing. So you put your finger on one side, you breathe in, you switch, you breathe out, then you breathe back in. Popular in yoga. You can also do like inhale, exhale type of breath. If you search breath work, you'll find a lot of it. Chanting is also really fun. I used to do bhakti yoga at Rutgers, and we would do the Hare Krishna chant, which for me was absolutely amazing. I loved every moment of it. Mantras are amazing. One of the most basic mantra is Om. And so you can combine these. You can be listening to a mantra or a chant or a guided meditation while also watching the candle flame, right? They don't have to be singular. So if you ever want to make your own mantra, it could be something that you're calling in. I am love, I am loving, I am abundant, I am wealthy, I am healthy, in the affirmative, what it is that you want. You can also meditate by looking at a spot in front of you, or you can close your eyes, or you could do a combination of both. You can also do a body scan where you have, this for me is easier with my eyes closed, but you check in on every single body part of yours and you see how it feels. You could do your own chakra cleanse if you want to as well. You could focus on your breath in general. So you could just focus on the cool air coming in, the warm air going out, or your belly filling up with air, your belly releasing the air, or the air going from outside up your nose into your lungs, down into your belly, and then out, right? So you can follow your breath. Moving meditations, which is kind of what I was alluding to before, where like literally like you're moving, like you are getting in the zone, but you're moving your body. Another one that I discovered recently is a loving kindness, I guess recently, it was like a few years ago, loving kindness walking meditation. So with a walking meditation, you're being very mindful about where it is that you're stepping. Like you're feeling whether it's concrete, carpet, grass, wood, like what you're stepping on with your feet. And then as you're stepping, like with one foot, you're thinking loving, and then the other foot, you're thinking kindness. And so like the only thing you're thinking about as you walk is loving kindness, loving kindness, loving kindness. And you say it in the rhythm in which you're walking. So that's another really beautiful technique. And there's many more beyond this, right? Like I'm just sharing a few that I personally enjoy, but at the end of the day, like it's going to be whatever excites you and whatever it is that you want to try. And so tonight I figured we can meditate for 5 minutes together and do that. I'm going to end up just holding this candle flame, I think, in front of the camera because I think that's going to be what's easiest. So I'm going to play some music and I'll make my screen bigger so you guys can see me, hopefully. Okay. And yeah, let's just meditate for some 5 minutes and Then we'll finish up the presentation. Trying to see, can you see this flame? Kind of. Okay, it'll work. We'll make it work. Okay. I feel like that time went by so fast. So I'm just going to share my screen again with you. So the other thing I just want to mention, a few more things. When it comes to meditating, this is like, I'm just telling you the most simple, basic, easiest thing for you to do to start meditating. Get a candle, find a quiet space, and start doing it. If you want to take it to another level, you can, and there are a lot of tools that can help you with it. One, you can always build yourself an altar. I got one this year. An altar is just a sacred space in a sense, and it could be as lavish or minimal as you want it to be. So you can like build your own little sacred space. That's where you go, where you do your meditation. You can also use crystals. And so these are just 3 different crystals that I have. And what'll happen is that you can hold the crystal while you meditate. You can focus on the intention, you can focus on the crystal, it's energy, right? So that's another technique that you can do. The next technique is you can clear your energy. And so clearing energy, especially as an empath, so you guys know I'm an empath, is really important. And I created a new product, which we'll go over in a second, but you can use incense, you can use Palo Santo or sage. This is loose leaf sage. This is a very burnt Palo Santo. I've clearly used it. But you can use these things to help clear your energy and then start your meditation. Okay. There's also an idea of cord cutting. I offer cord cutting if anyone ever wants it, with part of like my Reiki sessions. But basically, and this is with anything when it comes to changing your life, anything when it comes to living healthier, have it excite you. Be excited about it. Like myself personally, I'm so excited to watch a candle flame. I don't know why, but I really like looking at like the orange and the blue of a candle flame. Like that gets me motivated to sit down and meditate. Sometimes listening to a delta wave will get me feeling motivated and excited to meditate. So pick whatever technique that's going to excite you most. You can also change techniques. Like I don't use the same technique every day necessarily. Sometimes I'll light a candle and sometimes I'll listen to music. Sometimes I'll listen to a guided meditation. Sometimes I'll do a walking meditation. Sometimes I'll do yoga. It all just changes, right? It's not set in stone, and it doesn't have to be set in stone. Like this isn't meant to be a chore. This isn't meant to be punishment. Like this is meant to be fun and exciting. And dancing, of course, is one of those things. But I decided to create a beginner meditation box because I really feel like a lot of people now more than ever want to get into meditating, but they just don't know how to do it. Hence why we're doing this webinar. So in this box, you get a candle, a white candle, and I use a white candle specifically because it does help with connecting in with spirit and the divine. It's like the color white. So there's meaning behind this. You also have a selenite crystal. This is a great crystal if you have other crystals as well to like keep it near to help clear the energy of those crystals. We have Palo Santo stick. So this you would place in fire and light it and then bring it around your body. It doesn't stay lit as long as sage, just so you know. And then I also created a smudge spray. So this smudge spray is 2 ounces. And basically, it'll help clear and purify your energy body and your aura. So in this, there's witch hazel, there is Palo Santo essential oil, clary sage essential oil, sweet orange, and rose. So it's a very bright smelling smudge. I've had smudge sprays that smell so much, like that smell really dense. And I just personally, I like lighter colors. So I made something that's a little bit lighter. And so instead of using the Palo Santo stick, you can use a smudge spray. So let's say I'm new to meditating. I don't know how to do this, blah, blah, blah. How would I use these things in this box? Well, first, what I would do, this is my little tester smudge spray. And there's also a clear quartz crystal in it. Everything's Reiki infused, Reiki charged. So basically with the spray, I'll use the spray at any point in time. I'll wake up, I might use it. I'm going to leave the house, I might use it. I'll come back inside the house. And like literally, I just do that. I just spray myself. Okay, I'm spraying and clearing out my aura. You could do this before you start meditating if you want to, or you could just use this whenever you want throughout the day. Now, as I meditate, I will keep the selenite wand in my space, whether it be by the candle or I might hold it. With these wands, I will just say they do break off, so just be wary if you do hold it. And then I would sit down in my quiet space. I would light my candle. I would then take my Palo Santo, I would put it in the candle flame. I would bring the Palo Santo around my body. That's if I didn't use the spray. If I use the spray, then I don't necessarily have to do this. Put it around my body, clear myself, and then I would sit here for 5 minutes watching the flame of my candle. And then, or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And then when my meditation was done, I would blow out my candle, and that's it. Right? It's as simple as that. So that's how you use these items that are in this box. And it's up on Etsy if anyone is interested in it. But yeah, like this isn't meant to be overly complicated. I will post the link for the Etsy shop in the description. So I'm going to move on to questions, but I'm going to stop streaming to YouTube. So if anyone has questions, put it in the chat and I'll respond back to you in the chat. Thank you for being here watching with me on YouTube. But